Many people have never seen a coffee tree in their life, and sometimes they expect to see the brown coffee beans on the coffee trees, already roasted. But coffee is a fruit. When the coffee fruits are ripe, they look red. So we only come to pick the ones that are red, one by one. We also have to twist the fruit, twist and pull by twisting them, because if you don't twist it, you break the stems, and the next generation is coming back, is growing back from the same stems. If you break the stems, it takes for the coffee tree 5 years to replace it. If it rains too much, it gets fungus by that way because of moisture. So the first step in the coffee process is hand selected picking. The harvest in Boquete, the harvest starts in October. It ends in March. The harvest takes 6 months. We started to pick coffee 2 weeks in this farm, 2 weeks before October, and we have been through about 7 times already, 7 times, and the coffee trees still have a lot of fruits. Yeah, we just come to pick the red ones, we leave the green ones on the trees, and we keep coming back every 2 weeks during six months, from October to March. Now we have more than 450 workers, coffee pickers, more than 450 coffee pickers. 85% of the workers are indigenous. They're native Panamanians. They come from the group Nobe Bugle. They live in between Bocas del Toro and Chiriqui province. They live in the mountains, far away from Boquete. If they want to come to Boquete, they have to come all the way down to the big city by bus, and then on the way up to Boquete by bus too. But now this is the harvest time, so it is very easy for you to see a lot of women in Boquete, a lot of women in a colorful dress, a long piece and colorful. They are native Panamanians. They understand Spanish. But they speak their own language. Indigenous were living in Panama and Latin America before Spanish people came. You know, Spanish people were more interested in taking our gold and our lands, so they came to kill a lot of Indian groups because of gold and lands. Some of the tribes could survive because they run away and they stay in the forest. So Panama still have 7 different groups, 7 different tribes in Panama, like Cuna in San Blas, Emberá, Darien, Nobe Bugle. I come from the Nobe Bugle group too. I'm indigenous. Yeah, I'm indigenous, and that's why my first job was picking coffee. I was a coffee picker when I was 10 years old. I was 10, 11, 12, 13 years old when I was a coffee picker. I came to work in Café Ruiz when I was 17. Now I'm 31 years old, and I'm still here. Now I feel like a coffee bean. Well, I had to pick coffee when I was 10 because me and my brothers and sisters, at that time we were about 7 or 8 children. Our father went away, he ran away, so we decided to pick coffee, to work together to help my mom. Now my youngest brother is 26, so my mom is okay now. But it is still allowed for children to pick coffee, but now there are rules. If children want to pick coffee, they have to be on vacation from school. It is not allowed to see children in the coffee farming school season. They have to stay with their parents all the time. They work under their parents' supervision. If they want to work alone, they need to be older than 14 years old. Those are the rules. Most of the workers, indigenous, don't have houses in Boquete. Houses for rent in Boquete are too expensive because of developments, and that's why Mr. Ruiz built little houses in the farm and dormitories for the workers to stay during the harvest time. They don't have to pay for renting, for clean water, electric energy, health care. They also get paid for working. They get paid by the amount of coffee they pick. Yeah, the most coffee they pick, more money they get. We say in Spanish, incentivo. We pay by the lata. One lata is like a 4.5 gallons can, like a can, a lata, a box. But we pay $2.50 per lata. On average, one person is getting 8 latas per day because it takes 1 hour to fill up one lata. So 8 latas per day on average, $2.50 each, about $20 per day for one person. That's a lot of money in Panama. That's a lot of money. A coffee picker, some of the coffee pickers are getting much more money than a person who works in a grocery store in town, for example. But some of them are getting like 15, 16 latas in one day, so $30, $35 per day for one person. Now they're well paid, and that's because our coffee is well paid. If our coffee is well paid, everybody gets good benefits, from the coffee pickers to the owners. And we also have a small grocery store in the farm. Most of the workers are buying their food in our grocery stores because prices are much lower than grocery stores in town. But from planting a coffee seed in the ground for a new coffee plant to roasting the coffee beans, picking is the hardest job. Picking is the hardest job in the complete coffee process. I know because I did it. A coffee picker stay in the farm from 7 in the morning to 5 p.m. in the sun, in the rain. If it rains, they don't stop working because they get paid by the amount of coffee they pick. You see the coffee farms look like a forest, like a jungle. If you go in there 600 meters inside, you're going to see snakes in the farm. Snakes. Most of the workers are using rubber boots. They wear rubber boots all the way up here because, you know, there are a lot of weeds around, so you don't know what's underneath. So it's better for you to wear rubber boots and long sleeves. Long sleeves. So, yeah, 4 days ago I came with 7 people to do this coffee tour, and 2 meters away we got just a snake was going through. Yeah, running away. Yeah.
Poison snakes?
Yeah, we have seen coral snakes in the farm and some of the poisonous ones, but that's why I told you picking is the hardest job in the process. Part of the coffee farms are very steep, so it's more difficult to pick coffee in those farms too. When they fill up a bag, one bag weighs 60 kilos, 65 kilos, 140, 150 pounds. They put 60 kilos or 65 kilos on their back, and they walk from up there wherever they are all the way down to receiving point. They work very hard. This is the hardest job in the process, but what the coffee pickers are doing is very important for us. It's also very important. The only one step in the complete coffee process we don't do is roasting. We don't export roasted coffee. Our coffee is exported green beans, like green beans, so the buyers do the roasting. One of the countries is very good in roasting coffee is Italy. Italy is very good in roasting coffee, and that's why in Italy they say the most important step in the coffee process is the roasting. The way you roast it is the most important thing. But without picking, they don't get any coffee to roast. You know, somebody has to do the hard job. This is the hardest job in the coffee process. So that's why I told you the first step in the coffee process is hand-selected picking. We just come to pick the ones that are more red, one by one, by twisting them. Yeah, the ones are more red, completely red. You see? Looks like a fruit. Coffee is a fruit. So, first step in the coffee process, hand-selected picking. The second step in the coffee process is pre-sorting by density, by the weight, by using water. We put the red coffee fruits in water. If they float, they're not good. If they sink, they're good. When they float, it's because insects are eating the coffee beans inside. Sometimes they get damaged by fungus, and they also float. So insects or fungus. Yeah. We separate the floaters from the water, but we don't throw them away. We're processing the floater coffee, and we sell it to companies that are making instant coffee. Instant coffee, or companies are just making coffee already ground. But the cheapest ground coffee, do you know Folgers? They should say floaters instead of Folgers. Yeah. And you know Nescafe? In Panama we call it no es café in Spanish. No es café. But don't tell them I told you that. No, that's coffee with proteins because of the box. After floating, it goes to squeezing. We have to squeeze it to take the red skin off. Inside the fruit, there are 2 coffee beans. Look at this. You squeeze it, and you get 2 coffee beans from one fruit. You see.
Every fruit got 2.
Yeah, 2 coffee beans per fruit.
Yeah.
So you squeeze it, you get 2 coffee beans. So we do the squeezing. We did the squeezing by hand. Now we have machines like kind of pressers. So we have squeezing machines. We don't throw away the red shell. The red shell is very good to make organic compost, organic fertilizer. So we mix it with ash and chicken poop, and then we put it back in the farm around the coffee trees. I've not seen anyone today, but we like to have chickens in the farm, and chickens do a very good job because we only have to put the coffee shell somewhere, and then chickens come to work with their feet like that. So they spread it all around. Yeah, free labor. So the coffee shells, the coffee shells come back to the farm. It's very good for the soil. The coffee beans taste sweet. Lots of people like to squeeze the coffee fruit in the mouth. Tastes sweet. You can get one of the red ones, and you can try it if you want.